We're going live on social media. Dial it up, hang in there for, let me tell you something, brother. Going live in 20 seconds. Yeah, that sounds like me.
Are you ready? Yeah, you think you can tell us what to do? You think you can tell us what to wear? You think that you're better? Well, you better get ready. Bow to the masters.
Let me tell you something, brother. This show is the ultimate show about sports entertainment and the world of professional wrestling. Learn the ins and outs of storylines, talent in each platform, also some quick, slick moves. Still looking for somebody to give a big old hand slap to Tom. Of course, let me tell you something, brother, brought to you through the financial experts over at the Santos Agency, right? Health Markets right downtown, and Tom's Productions. We'll get into that here in a little bit. Tonight, you guessed it, the Royal Rumble. Gentlemen, welcome in. That's great radio.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, Royal Rumble this Saturday. I'm looking forward to it. I'm headed there.
You're headed down there.
My son Gabe to
Woo.
St. Louis, the Dome, it's called.
Woo!
Never been to Royal Rumble before, and very excited about it because it's always full of surprises and really sets the stage for what's to come over the next year.
WrestleMania. It's the road to WrestleMania. It's beginning of the new year, beginning of their new season. It is a very exciting time. I want to say, since '92, the Royal Rumbles actually meant something in the business. That's when Ric Flair came over, competed. They fought for Big Gold. Big Gold's a title that he had when he was in WCW that he owned. And they wanted to have the first ever undisputed championship.
That was back in the 1900s.
Yeah, 1992.
It's the 1900s.
Pretty much.
Speaking of Royal Rumble, though, real quick, I got to give a shout out to Lucy on the 32-2 victory in the basketball game. That little gym must have been rocking.
It was crazy,
guys. So good job.
It was crazy
over there.
Yes.
Yeah, but Royal Rumble started in 1988, and it was just a television special on the USA Network, and Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
The very first
winner.
The very first participant.
Yeah.
Sally, good evening. Gary over in Singapore. I know you're going to be tuning into the Royal Rumble. Singapore, big wrestling fans over there.
WWE wrestling
Worldwide, baby.
Anyhow, so how do we want to kick this off, Tom?
So, the past couple weeks, I've been watching the older Royal Rumbles and the originals, how it's progressed over the years. And I was just saying earlier, 92 is really when it started being something. Because the first few years, you had Hacksaw, Big John Studd, Hogan won a couple times. It wasn't for anything. It was just, we got 30 guys in the ring, one coming out every 2 minutes, and throw them over the rope, and that's the end of the show. And then in 92 is when Ric Flair came out from WCW, and they actually meant we're competing for something.
He won the championship.
He brought his belt, and they wanted him.
Dennis, how are you?
Belt, and that's where it was actually for the title.
Yeah.
And then ever since then, the winner of it would go on to main event WrestleMania.
That's it. Hey, Gary's all over it. First Royal Rumble winner, 88, was Hacksaw.
Oh,
that's it. It'll be on Sunday over there, of course.
Yeah. So just to piggy bank on Tom here and Ric Flair winning that, just like bringing back memories, and he gave one of his best promos after that with Mr. Perfect, Bobby Heenan in the background. And he says, with a tear in my eye, because he finally won the WWE Championship, which was something that, there was his obviously major competition, WCW, WWE, even at that time, to come over to the WWF brand and win their championship at the Royal Rumble. That was pretty go back and check that out
Right.
if you don't remember that promo. But that was pretty awesome.
What was the am I thinking right? Who was it? Davey Boy and Bret Hart. Where he thought he put Bret Hart out over and he held on and one foot went down.
That was Shawn Michaels.
Oh, Shawn Michaels. That's it. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. See?
95.
That was remember that?
So that was when they really started to. So just for those out there listening that don't know what the Royal Rumble is, I think at the time when it first started, about every 3 minutes, another wrestler.
About 2 minutes.
2 minutes, something like that. And basically, you're eliminated by being thrown over the top rope, and both feet need to touch the ground. And it was 1995 where Shawn Michaels really exploited that rule,
The one
hanging
foot.
on, 1 foot touching. Davey Boy, British Bulldog, rest in peace.
Yeah.
Thought he was the winner, and Shawn Michaels got in there, and then won the lovely hand of a young Pamela Anderson.
Did that go on to somewhat main event, one of the worst WrestleManias ever, WrestleMania 11. Against Diesel, and with the main event, that one being Lawrence Taylor and Bam Bam Bigelow.
It's one of those wrestling history moments
Oh.
that you just don't really remember.
You
Like, you see
skip
over
WrestleMania 11, and I'm like, what happened during
You
WrestleMania
don't-
11? That was
Don't even
significant.
waste your time watching that.
Don't watch it. As a snoozer.
Yeah.
Back in '92, Rick was the entrant number 3, right?
Right.
Yep.
And
when
it
he
was
won.
funny. Heenan was doing the commentary on that one, and he was picking them from the get go, and then he was, like what Heenan does, like second guessing himself. But as soon as he won, like the excitement, he was, I gotta go down there.
The signature thing about Shawn Michaels' victory, not only just the 1 foot hanging on, was he was the number 1 entrant that year as well.
See, Gary's all over it. He's like, hey, Sean, Benoit, and Edge are the ones who have won the Rumble by being the entrant number 1.
Yeah.
Right.
And
The Rabid Wolverine.
That was probably my favorite Royal Rumble. That was Royal Rumble 17, 2004.
Yeah.
They skip over that one, I think.
They actually have it on Peacock.
Oh,
Do they? Yeah.
They do have it on there. I thought, but what I noticed what Peacock does is they have all the Royal Rumbles not in chronological order. They got them by different numbers.
Ah,
So you actually have to go find Royal Rumble 17 or 2004 to
right.
watch that one. And for me, like that was like one of my favorite final 5 guys in there was Benoit, Angle, Jericho, RVD, and Big Show. So it was Benoit eliminating Big Show at the very end. I was like, any of those guys I would have been happy with. But I was really thrilled with Benoit winning that one at that time.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned Big Show. So, one of the things that it's always like puzzling, right, is the Royal Rumble is the only match that requires 10, 11, 12 people to throw the big guy over the top.
All right.
Any other Monday Night Raw, they can be thrown over the top. One person, no problem.
So true, right?
But the Royal Rumble, oh my gosh. You need everyone to get that person out. And you always assume the big guy is going to be the winner.
Yeah.
And it's only rarely been the case. I think maybe Yokozuna won.
Technically, Yokozuna won 93. So main event against Bret Hart. Technically, you could argue Big John Studd. But,
Oh, yeah.
Undertaker, he won one.
Yeah, I'm talking girth-wise.
Girth-wise,
The heavy guys.
Because like Andre, whenever he competed, like the one year I remember when I was a kid, where Jake the Snake brought the Python bag in, threw it in the ring, and he just jumped over there, right of that thing.
Gary says they turn on the gravitron machine in the Royal Rumble. Sucks them down.
It's very, very interesting the amount of strength you need to throw a wrestler over the rope during the Royal Rumble. And sometimes the amount, no strength. Like,
right, that's what I was just going to say.
There's been instances, one of the bushwhackers, right? Literally walks down the ramp, gets in, goes in, gets thrown right over the top, no problem, and marches right out.
Didn't even break a sweat.
Yeah, there's been a few instances like that.
That's it. Tom, we got a lot of people that are they are questioning or they're excited about looks like your golden locks.
My golden locks,
Yeah.
I know, it's a tribute to the first 2-time Royal Rumble winner, Hulk Hogan.
That's it.
And the name of our show, Let Me Tell You Something, Brother.
That's it. Looking good too, by the way. Don't adjust your cameras. That's his real hair.
Andre and Pastor Dave's on Wednesday.
That's right. Absolutely. So what's your take? You're heading down there. What's your take? Who's walking out? Who's the winner this year?
So honestly, I think that the men's and the women's Royal Rumble, that it's going to be a surprise entrant that wins the match. Someone unexpected.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think that they're setting the stage, number one, with all of the releases that WWE has done. I think that they have some grand plans to bring back a big name that they maybe otherwise couldn't afford to bring back. But to kind of shake things up and as WWE has been known to do, bring back a big guy, a big name to kind of bring the viewers back in as they got a lot of viewers, but they got some good competition with AEW, and I think they have to do something to kind of reel people back in a little bit.
Because it was like 6 years ago when AJ Styles made his debut. Everyone was shocked by that. And because here's one of the biggest names to never sign with WWE, is finally there, one of the best technical wrestlers. And he comes out, and I believe he was also number 3 too, and put on a show, and like the fans just instantly took to him. This year, I'm thinking, like for the women's side, I think Ronda Rousey's coming back, and she's going to win to go main event against Becky Lynch at WrestleMania. And the men's side, I could see either Roman Reigns or Brock losing in one of their matches, and then somehow enter themselves in the Royal Rumble to then go main event at WrestleMania too. But I would love to see an AEW guy like Jericho or MJF come in.
Yeah, so the rumor of that happening though is that's been shut down. No AEW crossover. But what Tom's talking about is again, for those who may not know the Royal Rumble. So the Royal Rumble, 30 men in a match, 30 women in a match. But there are other matches that take place, and there are 2 championship matches. One of them is a long time coming, Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley for the World Heavyweight Championship. And
Lashley's won that match for 10 years, 12 years, I want to say.
Yeah, that should be a great match to see. And then Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins. So again, the winner of the Royal Rumble gets to pick which champion they want to go after and headline WrestleMania. So if one of those guys were to lose their belt, Roman or Brock, we would suspect them to enter themselves into the Rumble and possibly win. So I could see that.
Yeah, it's probably not the first entry, the first guy in again.
Yeah, probably
right?
not.
Since it just did last year.
Yeah, 28, 29, 30, one of those.
Because I don't think, has 30 ever won? I don't think 30's ever won.
Unless John Cena won when he came back in 2008. He was number 30.
Okay.
And that was one of the big moments. He came back a few months earlier from an
injury.
injury and shocked the WWE world. So, yeah, that was one of my highlights here. A couple other highlights that have happened at Royal Rumbles. A lot of times what gets set up is maybe, at least back in the day, you didn't always see good guy versus good guy, bad guy versus bad guy.
Right. And
back in the day, that would be one of the few times you would actually see them face to face. So Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior, like their first face off was, at a Royal Rumble, and it's just the 2 of them in the ring, that which would ultimately set up them wrestling each other at WrestleMania.
At the Ultimate Challenge.
The Ultimate Challenge title.
The Sky Dome in Toronto, WrestleMania 6.
So there's been that that happened. Also, there are other big names, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Triple H, standing in the ring face to face, but are interrupted by Hurricane Helms. And so probably about Tom's size actually, of a wrestler, and here you are, he's standing in the ring with Triple H and Stone Cold, 2 of the best to ever do it, and he goes so those guys are like kind of towering over him. And he goes to double choke slam them, and they both look at each other like, yeah, right, and just proceed to throw him out of the ring, which was just a pretty funny moment. There's been some funny moments that have happened in the Royal Rumble as well, and some pretty shocking moments, like Tough Enough winner Maven, first Tough Enough winner eliminating The Undertaker, and then proceeding to get his ass kicked all over the arena for doing so.
Kelsey says, Tim, you need to be in the Hulkamania outfit for the next show. And Sally says, yep, let's go, Rhonda. She's very excited. So what about Drew McIntyre? Right now, you've got he and Roman big feud going on could lead to a good WrestleMania as well.
Right now, Drew's got the injury with the neck.
That could be the surprise,
so
baby. Whoa, whoa. Right? Come
I mean,
on.
Vince does love his guys. And
Yeah.
He likes to keep them going, but I just don't think Drew's a draw.
No?
I don't think he's that big draw that Vince was hoping for.
I don't know, man. So
That's why he keeps digging in well with Brock.
when I was at WrestleMania with Gabe and Drew McIntyre was the first music to hit, that was pretty awesome to see that. So people are pretty excited to see him. I just don't think he's in the cards right now to be a champion.
What?
Anyways.
Yeah, I don't know.
But let's talk about the women. So you talk about Ronda Rousey. So the Women's Royal Rumble that just began in 2018. Asuka was the first winner, and she's nowhere to be found these days. You had Charlotte Flair win the second Royal Rumble, Women's Royal Rumble, and then Bianca Belair, who went on to WrestleMania to.
I felt so bad for Bianca last year not having the fans there. I mean, that empty arena with the TV monitors. I was just like, I felt like her moment was kind of robbed.
Yeah.
For who she is, I'm hoping she gets another chance at that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this year, with whatever Vince is doing with the company right now, he's desperate to get those ratings. So I see him throwing a lot of money at Ronda to come back this Saturday night.
Yeah, man, I hope so. I think the place will be rocked if they hear her music. But Bianca did get her shining moment when she won the belt at WrestleMania. So that was pretty awesome. That was the only night that me and Gabe went to.
Okay.
And it was pretty epic moment. So it was pretty cool.
That is cool.
Some of my other their Royal Rumbles moments was it was 97 when the whole Austin Hart feud was going on, and Austin was in the ring. He's throwing guys off left and right, sitting on top of the turnbuckle, looking at his watch, waiting for the next one. Does the same thing again. Goes back on the turnbuckle and waiting for the music. Then Hitman's music starts blasting, and they just go at each other, fighting each other. And that set up the controversy of Brett should have won that Royal Rumble, but the referees never saw Austin get eliminated. And that's all that controversy with Austin and Brett wrestling at WrestleMania and stuff, the winner fighting for the title that year. My other favorite moment, too, is when McMahon tore both his quadriceps. And,
remember that?
Batista and John Cena doing the double elimination. And he's down there on the mat just barking orders at what they're doing. They're both kind of looking at him like.
One of the more awkward moments of wrestling. So here comes Vince McMahon and his Vince strut. And he struts himself into 2 hamstring pulls, right?
Yeah, and he's sitting up against the ropes. Yeah.
It's like, how did they even keep a straight face on that? It was just beyond me.
I think you're right. Maybe I missed Royal Rumble. Becky Lynch, she won the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, Becky was the winner after Asuka. Charlotte was after Becky. Yeah.
Good call.
Gary out there. What about Paige? Think we'll see Paige make an appearance?
I really hope Paige comes back. That would be nice.
Yeah, I think that would be pretty cool. She's definitely been very active on social media. A lot of people are kind of hinting at her return. She had a neck injury, though, so
forced her to retire.
Yeah, forced her to retire. She's only 25 years old or something.
Wrestling since she was 13, 14.
Yeah. Check out the movie Fighting with My Family.
So out there at Vegas, they're saying we may see a return of Bailey.
I can see that
coming, right? She has already confirmed that is feeling quite well and she is ready to get back into action. Another possible return might be the former Rumble winner Asuka. Interesting. Asuka, whatever. Asuka, what?
Asuka.
They definitely need more.
That's not the way that it's spelled.
I know.
Asuka. I don't know. And hands-on favorite, they believe will be Sasha Banks.
Sasha Banks to
win the Rumble.
That's betting in Vegas right now? Because I bet 100% that doesn't happen.
Is that right?
Yeah. She got, so my understanding is she's injured. She got injured in a house show a few months back. But that'd be cool. I mean, it'd be unexpected. I don't think
she's yet to win a WrestleMania too. She's 0-5 now in WrestleMania.
Is she really injured though? And that's what makes it the surprise.
Sometimes they do those
Yeah.
storylines.
Yeah,
Yeah, tripped over my dog, going, whatever.
yeah. So it could be someone too. Like, so there's some women making their return for this match. Lita, who says she's got another run in her to go after a championship. The Bella twins will be in there, and some of the other.
You got Alexa Bliss now starting her comeback in a way with her therapy sessions and everything.
Yeah.
I saw that WWE actually trademarked now Goddess, so she's going to go back to her NXT gimmick.
Yeah, dude, I dig Alexa Bliss, man. I don't know, I really like her. So, like,
Yeah.
I told you that was one of my shining moments in wrestling fandom was meeting Alexa Bliss just for a brief second. And the best part of it, though, and the real memory of it was my daughter Addie was maybe like 4 at the time, and when we got up to her, she goes up to Alexa, and Alexa's got her arms out to give her a hug, and Addie says, "You're my biggest fan."
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. So, and she's about this tall, so she's super short.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyhow.
That's what Sally says. It was amazing. It was amazing. So you're going down. This your boy's first.
Royal Rumble, yeah. So me and Gabe, over the years, we've seen a handful of pay-per-views at Allstate Arena. I've been to Monday Night Raw and SmackDown, and we went to WrestleMania for our first time this past year. And as I'm like looking forward, I'm like, okay, where's SummerSlam going to be? Where's the next Survivor Series going to be? Let's get all the big ones.
Yeah.
We see Money in the Bank. Actually, the Money in the Bank was the one that we saw in Chicago was CM Punk, John Cena, when CM Punk left with
that was a good match.
Ran right past us. We're actually, I bought the DVD just so I could show Gabe. There we are.
There we are.
There's CM Punk running right past us. So that was pretty cool.
That is awesome. So you're going down. You're getting there early. What? Tell us about the experience you're hoping to have.
Yeah, so it actually just kind of came on a whim. I got an email from WWE, hey, tickets are on sale, St. Louis. I'm like, let me Google Maps. How long of a drive is this? It's like 4.5 hours.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Not bad drive at all.
All right, what are the tickets? Gotta be crazy. And I'm like, $25, $35. Like, are you kidding me? It's only 4.5 hours, and I'm like, this is inexpensive.
Right.
We gotta go. And I had sent a couple messages out, and Dan Gleason from the Bremer team.
Yeah.
He's a huge wrestling fan. He's actually probably a bigger fan than he cares to admit. I like to talk to him about it. He knows a lot about wrestling, and his son has a YouTube channel where he talks about different action figures and all stuff like that from wrestling and stuff like that. And I was like, hey man, you want to go? And he found you got a deal if you got 4 tickets, so we even got them at a better price. I think we're in the aisle and like set up close enough, like where they're coming down, like not close to the ring,
right,
where they're coming out.
Nice.
So I haven't seen the seats yet, but he says that we should be in pretty good shape where we're at. So
that's
I'm
awesome.
Excited about that.
That is awesome.
Yeah, so it's just we're gonna cruise down there, spend the night, cruise back Sunday. We'll be back by 2 o'clock or whatever on Sunday.
So be all hopped up on adrenaline, won't sleep.
Yeah.
St. Louis, yeah, they've got Waffle House down there, don't they? You'll be good.
Oh yeah.
You just got down with.
It's right by the arch too. So
yeah. Oh,
yeah,
nice.
where it's at. So
yeah,
we've driven past it, but never really been into
yeah.
St. Louis.
There it is, and of course, and some good barbecue down there. So you got to partake in that.
Spaghetti Factory.
Yeah.
I'm off my 75 hard right now, so I'm gonna go down and enjoy myself.
And then do 125 hard. Yeah. That's it. Of course, you're listening to Let Me Tell You Something, Brother, right here. 21.6 The Net, brought to you through the financial support of our good friends at the Santos Agency Health Markets. If anybody wants to know about what you do, Tim, how do they find you?
Well, the best place to find us is right on Green Street in downtown McHenry.
Stop on in.
Yep, stop on in. We love visitors, but you can always give us a call or just check out our website, healthmarkets.com/tsantos.
That's it. And of course, Tom's Productions. Tom, if somebody wants their name, engraved, chiseled on something, they call you. How do they do that?
So you can just give me an email at tom@tomsproductions.com. You're welcome to go on my website too, tomsproductions.com, or call my cell phone 630-776-9492. I will answer and get back to you as soon as I can. You
No
can check out the
apostrophe.
message.
No apostrophe. It's just TOMS.
TOMS.
Yeah.
It stands for Thomas Odell Media Services.
There you go.
So Tom's Productions.
I did not know that.
You learn something new every day.
I just did, and then he says it like an idiot. I have to go through. Oh yeah.
But yeah, your one-stop shop for your decorated apparel, embroidery, screen printing, branding, promotions, all that stuff. So
Oh, that is great. Great stuff. But of course, we're talking about the Royal Rumble here on Let Me Tell You Something, Brother. This is outside of WrestleMania. This is like right there, right? I mean, this is number 1, 2, or 3. It's in the top 3 of the year, right?
Yeah, so
I
this,
say number 3 for me.
yeah, what's number 2?
SummerSlam. Mm.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, it's probably pretty good. But the Royal Rumble is the beginning of the road to WrestleMania, and they kind of drag that out a little bit because you think it's like Royal Rumble's in January and WrestleMania's got to be in like November or December. It's only like 2 months. So it's not
Right.
that long of a road, to be honest.
Sometimes like one pay-per-view between the two.
Right.
Yeah, but it sets up the championship matches for WrestleMania, so that's where everything goes, where everything begins. So, and it's exciting because who's going to be in it, right? For the most part, they announce, hey,
Mhm.
I'm putting myself in the Royal Rumble as if they really had a choice, but you never know what number they're going to be. So that countdown starting at 10, countdown to 1, I just can't wait to experience that live with Gabe. Like, that's just going to be cool. Even if it's someone silly that comes out next, just doing the countdown in the crowd with everybody not knowing who's going to be next. Like, we're pretty excited about that experience. So
It was kind of funny watching the original ones where like there's no music playing when they just came out. It just the first two would get their music, and then whoever was next, they just walk down the arena, run in the arena, and then you saw like over the year how it evolved with the production and the fanfare and like how they learned like, oh, people actually like that little slight pause delay and wait for the music to hit and the anticipation. I forget which year it was. I don't know if it was like 95 or 97 where the clock wasn't working. For like the first 15 guys, the clock wasn't working. So like they would just.
those years, no one was really watching anyway. So like, it was going to be Doink the Clown or Repo Man or someone come out. Those are some off years.
Yeah, it's like 95 WWE was not good.
Julian says, hey, hi, Daddy. And of course, Gary says Trexus is the first local Singapore wrestler in the WWE.
I know who's Texas.
Oh, I'm looking.
Tyler Rex is my guess.
Who?
I'm guessing Tyler Rex.
I don't know.
Anyways, you know what? Some other notable Royal Rumbles was the greatest Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia, where they had 50 people participate in that match. But the only thing that I remember of that match is Titus O'Neil. So Titus O'Neil comes running down the ramp and proceeds to trip over his foot or something and slides right underneath the ring. That's it though. And I think Braun Strowman won, but
Strowman won that one.
Yeah. So I'm trying to find him here. He's in the NXT right now. Trexus is, yeah.
he's in NXT.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so some things that are outside of the Royal Rumble that are happening right now is that talk that the relaunch of NXT, what's known now as NXT 2.0, basically threw a bunch of coloring up and got rid of everyone that was drawing anybody to watch, and tried to relaunch this under a different vision. And I think they are coming to realize that it was a bad move. And people... NXT is similar to, in my eyes, to AEW. More of like just wrestling. You know, there wasn't a lot. They had their storylines or whatever, but in my eyes, NXT was something that I was excited to see. Who was kind of on the indie circuit. That was their name was being built. You finally got to see these people who spent years in the indie circuit building their names up, and then now they get their time to shine. But it still had that like low budget, small, intimate type of feeling to it. which AEW is obviously growing now, but it kind of originated with that same sort of style. Like some people just from all over the place that maybe you had or hadn't heard of before, now they're getting their time to shine against on a bigger stage.
Yeah. So
and what they did now with NXT 2.0 was based like literally splash color all over it. It was gold and black before, and it was great.
Black and gold brand, and
some awesome wrestlers from Finn Balor, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, basically all the top stars in WWE now.
Right.
And now top stars in AEW.
Yeah.
Yes. Now they are in AEW. So,
So Trex
it's a
is.
shame what's happened, but.
Yeah, I like that. It gave you that dirty, you earn your way up kind of back room. Let's go old style wrestling. Dante Chen is what he is his wrestling name, Trexus. So he, that's his wrestling. He fought against Trey Baxter in his first match at WWE NXT. Yeah. Trexus was his wrestling name in Singapore.
And that's the thing now with NXT too is like it's not only the wrestlers they've lost and like either called up or released or whatever. It's the backstage producers that really helped develop these guys. The guys like William Regal, he was so influential with a bunch of these guys.
There's some pics of him. There's kind of he's ripped up pretty good. Don't know how well he did, but there you go.
And he'll be called up and released and right to WrestleMania like everyone else.
Like everybody else. Come on up, do a couple shows. We'll be good to go. We'll be good to go. Oh my gosh. Look at I almost forgot that here we go. Let's do this.
Time to play the game. It's all about the game, and how you play it. It's all about control, and you can take it. It's all about your stand, and you can play it. It's all about
Yes, that music means one thing. It's time to play the game. This game is best, worst, or worse, I guess. Worst, that's an Iowa thing. All right, here it is. Tonight's topic, best of, worst of, seller of a move. The best seller of a move, the worst seller of a move.
Oh, I can tell you right now, the best seller of a move, and a specific move, is The Rock taking a Stone Cold Stunner.
Whoa.
Would take a stunner and bounce, flip damn near out the ring.
He could sell it.
Took it.
Oh,
like, all right, so there's never going to be an episode that we don't talk about The Rock.
Yeah, right.
So The Rock is my all-time favorite wrestler and probably one of my all-time favorite just people in general. Well, I look back on some of those matches as I like rewatch some of these things and the facial expressions this guy would make. Like if you were just talk something bad, his eyes would on his face, and just like the ridiculous wardrobe that he would wear and his big chops, sideburns, Just like the guy just sold himself. He sold moves. I mean, one of his moves just being an elbow drop, the people's elbow, making this one of the simplest moves ever. And just the most electrifying.
Had to peel off the elbow. Oh, yeah.
So someone that could take a move like that and perform it and make it like believable, that it was so impactful, but the way he took punches, the way he gave punches, and definitely how he sold the stunner, one of the all-time best.
His bounce was timed perfectly with the stunner. I mean, it was like you felt it. It wasn't like stun. Oh, whoops, boom. It was like right there, right now. Yeah, it was good. Gary says best move seller, Shawn Michaels.
I would also put him as an overseller.
Oh,
yeah. So Shawn Michaels and Ric Flair, and they would they definitely piggyback on each other. So I loved Ric Flair getting punched in the face and then taking a couple steps and falling
flat on his face. Yeah.
But Shawn Michaels and Ric Flair, notorious for being thrown into the turnbuckle and with so much force that their body flips into the turnbuckle. Definitely oversellers. Not fair, but just kind of the memories going back in my mind of people who didn't sell very well. So Vince McMahon and his runs as wrestlers, and again, the Stone Cold Stunner, he was arguably one of the worst. To take it. No bounce, no nothing, just flat and on his back. So otherwise, who else? One of the worst.
Usually it's the big guys, because they don't like to take the bumps. Like Andre, if he did not like you, he would not sell at all. It's like he would constantly do that with the Ultimate Warrior. He did not like the Warrior, and the Warrior would go like do his power clothesline, and Andre wouldn't even move. And just kind of look at you like, no.
Yeah, this is how we're playing.
But it's kind of funny. It's like, for me though, it's a lot of the bigger guys. They just they don't have the agility to sell.
Yeah.
But it's like the worst one I saw was when Michaels was overselling Hogan at SummerSlam. I think it was 2005 or 2006. Icon versus Icon.
Yeah.
And he was upset because Hogan wasn't going to put him over at the next match. They were just going to do a one and done.
Yeah.
So Michaels was purposely watching, oversold every single Hogan maneuver, a punch, a kick, a throw. Like, Hogan was a superpower.
Yeah.
And he was just flying everywhere. I mean, you watch now, it's just comical.
Yeah.
Shawn Michaels did that again with Triple H. Was the finger poke of death or something?
It was Hogan and Nash was the finger poke of doom.
Oh yeah.
That was the downfall of WCW.
Yeah, that was the shark jump. That's it. So I love Ric Flair. Absolutely love Ric Flair, but I would say he is one of the worst sellers of the move, just, because of the oversell, right? However, he and Michaels are some of the best bleeders.
Right.
Oh yeah.
They, you oh my gosh, it turned red. Oh, I mean, they were good bleeders. Best seller of the move. Boy, I don't know. There's The Rock does a nice job. He does. But if you go back and pull up Rey Mysterio, that little guy could sell it too, though.
Oh, yeah.
And I think because he was so small that I say that he's probably a decent sized dude, but I mean, compared to the other guys, I always liked the way he did it too, because he was so small. I think he sold it well. But
I thought Jericho was great at selling.
Yeah.
I remember going to a few house shows and legitimately thought he was hurt. And it was like they did like the X sign or whatever, and nope, he was just faking it and fooled everyone and went on with the match. And
yeah,
Gary was one of my greatest of all time. He's up there. He's on my Mount Rushmore.
I still don't like him. I don't know. Maybe if he comes on the show, I like him. Worst move seller, Seth Rollins. His injured knee selling is bad. And then
Tom doesn't like Seth Rollins.
I know.
Yeah. So you're agreeing with that.
What you say about Seth Rollins? Tom doesn't like it.
And of course, Art. How are you, brother? Art chimes in. Best seller is Ricky Steamboat, Ricky the Dragon. Period. End of story. Oh man, when he'd get up there. Oh no, that's Snuka I'm thinking of. Ricky. Oh yeah, Ricky Steamboat. Yeah.
You know what? So he's one of the all-time greatest matches. Him and Macho Man won WrestleMania 3. Kind of stole the show a little bit there, but honestly, I don't know that much. I don't have that many matches.
I think the issue with Steamboat for our era was we got like 96 Steamboat where they made him this cartoon character.
Yeah.
And so it was like back was WrestleMania 3, I think that's like 1986, when he really was a technical wrestler. Oh, there's Dusty.
That's what Art says. Best bleeder, Dusty Rhodes.
I mean, he's one of the best sellers too, though, because if you can rock polka dots like that and sell yourself as a legitimate wrestler.
And Vince made him do that on purpose.
He did, I know.
Yeah,
Got
the story behind that was like,
the moves going on, everything.
You're gonna wear these polka dots.
Yeah.
He sold out of it.
Yeah. You know what? Triple H was always, for a big guy, he could always sell a pretty good move too. I mean.
Yeah. I like Triple H a lot.
Yeah.
In fact, when you play that music, like, I don't know.
Spit the water.
Yeah.
Right. Water. So when Gabe was little, he would do he'd be the Undertaker, right? And he'd come out, walking out of the room like all slow, like doing entrances. And his dad, I was always the game. I was always Triple much.
Yeah.
So there's a spot in my heart that I just reflect on all that. But I tell you what, if his music hits on Saturday,
Ooh, I was thinking
Oh,
about
man.
that too, but I was like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll try to take my shirt off. That's all excited out.
Oh yeah.
Take a picture.
Well, and you think back to Diamond Dallas Page with the diamond cutter back in the day, and
Original RKO out of nowhere.
yeah, out of nowhere, right? And the guys didn't do too bad of a job selling that one either, right? I mean, it was interesting. Hey, Eddie, how much for those action figures?
Name your price.
That's it. Hey, they're all for sale.
It's $1 million man. Every man knows his price.
That's right. So does each action figure. What's that? So I think there's, I think the new age people have a hard time selling moves as compared to the old guys, and that's probably just because I'm a fan of the old guys, right?
I think now they are so forced to be scripted. They almost move for move. They're not getting the freedom or the creative freedom. They kind of go ahead, like every word they say is now almost word for word scripted.
Yeah.
And it's like I feel like now it's like they're trying to force it too much. While back then they're like some guys, like I want to say Ric Flair and like Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels will be like, let's just feel what we got in the ring.
Yeah.
While Macho Man, he was like, no, we're doing this move, this move, this move, this. Like he had every detail in order how it's going to go.
Yeah.
So, and I think now that's kind of where they're going. It's like almost like, well, we got to do this, do this, do this.
Yeah. So one of the things that I miss and talk about selling is like finishing moves.
Mm-hmm.
So they're back in the day, like look, Hulk Hogan hit you with the leg drop, and done deal, match was over. $1 Million Man, $1 Million Dream, whatever, you're going to sleep after you're done. Now it's like you
kick out 10 times.
You kick out a bunch of times.
Yeah.
What made the finishing move so much more devastating in the 80s than it does in current
Right.
time? So I get it, but at the same time, it's like I miss that. It should be you work up. Some wrestlers had like secondary finishing moves, right? Like a move that they're known for, like The Rock and The Rock Tornado DDT or something like that. The People's Elbow, but the Rock Bottom was the actual finish.
Sharpshooter too.
Yeah, so they had a move set, and it was like building up to that finisher, and then it was actually during that same time. The Rock would take 3, 4, 5 stunners in a match before finally the last one hit, and then they would even do their finishers to each other.
Yeah.
So
how bad can they do it?
So, anyways, I kind of miss that the old days of once that finisher was done, then you knew the match was over.
That's why I love Goldberg. Hit you with that spear, get you that jackhammer, get you up there.
The problem with Goldberg is the bell rings, it's spear, jackhammer, the bell rings.
That's the way to do it.
You don't got much moves in between.
That's the way to do it. Rock and Austin put the finisher on finishing moves, 19 rock bottoms and still counting. Art says.
Yeah, I agree.
That's Mr. Old School brother right there.
That's it. That's it.
After WrestleMania 9 in 1993, he stopped watching.
Art, I think you're the only one. Art, I think you're the only one in the family who doesn't have a show on 21/6. Come on, bud. Let's get you on.
I agree, though. It was during like the Attitude Era where the finishers just kind of lost their
Yeah.
luster.
What was that?
You had to get a chair involved. You had to get a table involved. You had to get a weapon. And your finishing move wasn't a finisher.
Yeah, you ran into Andre's foot. You were done.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
Done.
Hogan body slams you and it's over. Like, you go entire match being impervious to pain.
Tombstone pile driver.
One move, you're done.
Yeah.
And now it's like everyone is trying to do, I want to say, the Stone Cold gimmick of my name's Steve Austin and I'm going to be this bad guy or this rebel against authority.
Yeah.
That now everyone's pretty much like almost using their own names. There's no more gimmicks anymore. And you just pretty much, no one's special because they're all the same. It's just a different.
People forget he was stunning before he was Stone Cold.
Yeah, that's part of the Hollywood blonde.
That's it. All right. So when it comes to the end, then there's not a lot of flair now. So now we've got short hair, bald hair. Growing up in the Attitude Era, you had your curly locks. We would lock up, right? I'd be like, all right, bro, here's what we're doing the next 3 moves or whatever, right? I mean, the first time you learn that as your kid, you're like, what? You're talking to each other?
Yeah.
What? But now everybody's bald or short hair, and there's no, they don't lock up anymore, so it's like you said, it's almost too scripted. So I think the beauty of old school was, when Dusty Rhodes and Ric Flair were locking up, and they're like, I don't know, let's do this for the next 3 minutes,
And that's why I love AEW so much now, is because it's more wrestling, less talking.
Yeah.
And it's the technical wrestlers that I grew up watching. I like the Bret Harts, I like the Perfects, I like the Benoits, the Angles, those kind of guys. Where there's a skill set involved. And it wasn't just like, I'm the biggest guy, I'm the strongest, and I talk louder than you or whatever. Like Hogan as a kid was awesome. He was larger than life. As you get older, then you realize his limited moveset and whatnot, and the politics also involved.
But he came in, was a good guy, right? So it was a good guy saved the day. He was on Johnny Carson. He would, he was on all the talk shows.
Movies.
Yeah.
Thunder Lips.
Right. Yeah.
So the interesting thing, though, I suppose, is so when we were kids, right, we didn't realize the limited moveset, but my parents were fans.
Yeah.
And they loved his limited moveset. It was great.
It's kind of funny. Like,
right.
My dad always loved the bad guys, and I was like, I like that. Like Rick Rude was like one of his.
Oh, Rick Rude. Good mustache on that guy too.
And the mustache and hair, like, man, if I could actually grow that, I probably would.
Right.
But yeah, it was like those kind of guys that he liked, and when I was younger, I didn't understand it until now, older, watching it again, and I'm like, oh, I get it now. It was the ring psychology they had, how they interacted with the fans. Just their charisma. It was different.
Yeah,
it definitely was different. I was just thinking about those first Royal Rumbles a little bit, trying to bring it back to Royal Rumble, like the when he said there was no music, like I wouldn't even know who the guy was.
Right.
It'd be like, here comes Kent Jones.
right.
And obviously it's thrown out like the local talent, the jobbers too, they'd be kind of mixed in there a little bit.
Yeah.
There was like some, like, I think it was 95, where it was a bunch of Lucha Libres from Mexico. They had like AAA or whatever, because the roster was so depleted.
Yeah.
Just to get someone in there, it's like,
which is kind of what's happening this year. So there's been a lot of invites from Impact Wrestling, particularly the women. We talked about this a little bit earlier. So formerly the Iconics, which was Billie Kay and Peyton Royce, women's tag team in WWE that were released earlier or late 2021. They now go by the Inspiration, and they were invited to participate in the Women's Royal Rumble, and they turned it down. And I think that's kind of a big deal. I mean, WWE, like it or not, is still
the top.
Yeah, it's still the top.
It's the measuring stick. It's the GOAT.
They're gaining ground on them, but to have the so Mickie James, who I think she's still the women's knockouts champion, she's going to participate, and she had been rumored to had a horrible experience at WWE, and her stuff was put in a trash bag and like thrown out when they let her go. And here she's coming back. So I mean, I think she realizes there's this brass ring, and you still want to kind of grab it when the opportunity presents itself. So it's interesting to me that someone would turn down, even if it's just a one night type of deal, just to kind of get back in the limelight a little bit.
Yeah. Now, interesting, right? I was listening to some other podcasts, and they were interviewing our good friend Jeff Hardy, speaking of AEW, and when he was asked, "Hey, is there a chance for you and Jeff to hook back up?" His response was, "When it comes to myself and Jeff teaming up, being the Hardy Boys, it's like riding a bike." So does that mean we're going to see the Hardy Boys back in tag team action on the AEW side?
I think it's probably inevitable that does happen. Yeah. So them, their story is pretty cool to see if you ever get a chance to see Twist of Fate, the Hardy Boys story, I think. They were just backyard teenage wrestlers, had their own
Mhm.
lifetime wrestlers from jobbers in WWE to champions. So I wouldn't doubt that. And Jeff Hardy right now, I think, is focused on. He's actually a musician. He's got like a music career.
Yeah.
He's currently touring. That's actually so. Dan Gleason, his son, they got to meet him in Chicago. On Rockford, it's actually in Chicago. It was like the night or the same week that Jeff Hardy left WWE. He was there. To answer your question, Eddie, it's the Undertaker's move is the Tombstone.
Tombstone pile driver. Oh,
He also has Hell's Gate as his submission.
Yeah, he did introduce the choke.
Yeah.
And Hell's Gate, otherwise known as the choke.
My guys are getting a little bit too heavy to lift.
Yeah, the last ride.
That's
was
right.
also another one
Yeah.
introduced
Yeah.
later. I think Jeff Hardy was actually victim of the last ride multiple times.
many times. Yeah, many
Wedgie
times.
powerbomb.
Yes.
Yeah.
All
right.
Exactly.
That's so true. That's right. All right. So this is 21/6 the Royal Rumble's coming up this Saturday down in St. Louis. And one of the hosts is going. We're expecting. We want pictures. We want a big report coming in on the next show. Grab some interviews.
My credentials and my T-shirt.
That's it. And
Backstage.
that's it. I've got a thing going on this Saturday with Chamber. It won't quite be the same Royal Rumble, but who knows? Like we could get crazy. We could get crazy there. We could lay somebody out on our table. Boom. Right? Some chairs.
You got to promote the show, you know?
Yeah. Gotcha.
Won't be through a table, no. Slam it through a
That'll be
table.
something else.
Do you have a ticket? Choke slam him. It'll be clear.
You just show up.
Yeah, it's bootleggers. That's it. I brought the hooch. That's it. Which is fantastic. So over on the AEW right now, that we'll catch up on Rumble results. Yep, there are 2 weeks. We go on the second and fourth week Tuesdays, right? So second, fourth Tuesdays. So AEW. Now I know you're an old school WWE fan, but we got to give AEW some time and some credit. Why does it suck so much?
It does not suck.
What do you mean?
I have to agree.
You guys.
The fact that we have to even talk about them on
Right.
the show. Just kidding.
The only thing that sucks right now, this is the only thing I say that sucks at AEW right now is CM Punk.
I've never been a fan of his
And
ever.
he's become what he despised. He's a hypocrite. He was powerbombed 5 times and somehow squeezes out a victory against this new guy that's probably going to be in the WWE soon. It's just, for me with him, I don't like, the hypocrisy, what he did. He's just overrated. He steals people's moves, steals their wardrobe.
Always has.
And he's not that great a wrestler. He's a great talker.
Always has.
His matches bore me, and it's like, he's going to tribute the Macho Man or Bret Hart here and there. And
Always has.
I'm just like,
He's not even built real good.
No.
Right? You're built better than he is. That's what I'm saying. And every time I tune in or watch some stuff on it, it's like I'm cheating. Right? I mean, you're like, yeah, and I want to like it. I really do. I want to like it, but there's just something that's in my DNA that's like, I don't know.
I gave it, and look, I like to watch wrestling, so I give it a shot.
Yeah.
Every time it's on, I'll give it a shot. And I paid for pay-per-views. When CM Punk made his return, I was excited about it. Not for CM Punk, but because I love wrestling. And here comes the energy.
in that moment.
In the
Chicago.
moment.
Yeah.
Yes, all that stuff added up to what equated to a great return. But week after week, Punk speaks.
Yeah.
Matches are
Very
whatever.
rusty.
And
Yeah.
not putting over the young talent like he
wanted to.
swore to do. He's just kind of been he John Cena at AEW came back.
Yeah.
He's going on a run all about
Punk. You're a
himself,
part-timer.
not about
Right.
anybody else. And honestly, MJF calling him out and talking his shit to him like he did, I thought
I
was
love it.
brilliant. And there's a fan. That's why I tuned in to see MJF speak, because He reminds me of the Miz, and I like the
Better
Miz.
Miz.
He's better on the mic. Well,
He's better than Mike.
Miz was
better than
good.
Miz than Miz.
he is MJF is more of he's more cutthroat. Like he goes after to hurt your feelings.
Yeah.
And you can see it in CM because there's a lot of honesty in what he says too, and I know it's got to sting some of those things, you know. So
Oh yeah.
And speaking of Sting, that's why I like AEW too. I mean, they're using Sting kind of in a right way for what his age and what his move says, trying to help Darby.
He's 945 years
He's like
old.
64.
And his
But if you like Tony Schiavone yell Sting every time, it brings you
Right.
back to the 90s.
Oh my God. No. I mean,
I like watching Bryan Danielson. I like Adam Cole. Pretty much undisputed, leaving NXT to come over to AEW. I love that right now, and I love what they're doing in that part. I don't like where they're trying to take every single guy that's released by WWE and put him on the roster trying to fill a spot because they're not developing some of those younger guys. Like even He-Man Page is their champion.
Right.
I don't feel like that.
right.
He's not really being developed. A lot of those guys are on the back burner now.
yeah.
Miro, Malachi Black.
So see, that's how I felt when Daniel Bryan was the WWE champion. Like his last couple of runs, like they got a belt on him, but
Right.
I don't feel it.
Yeah.
I did like his heavy title. That was probably my favorite.
See, the title was cool, but the run was
Right.
super.
Yeah. Right. And I do. And I don't know if it's, you know, it back in the day, you know, watching WCW and then watching WWE, it was a whole thing and it was great. Right. Flipping back and forth doing it. And then it's the WWE the whole time. And now, you know, and I'm not a big Jericho fan. I know you guys love him. I'm not he's very talented, but I've never been a big Jericho fan. But I just can't get around. Every time I watch it, I'm like, I really need to enjoy this. And it's hard for me to, for some reason. I don't know. It's like going to a movie with your wife and staring at a different person through the whole movie. Or reaching into somebody else's popcorn box.
yeah. I don't know. I've tried. I continue to try for the sake of this show. I try.
Right. I'm the same way. I try to read about it. I'm just like,
Look, honestly, you know, my history, my love for WWE is what pushes me through watching their shows. But there's a lot of their programming too. You know, an hour and a half, and I'm like, is something exciting needs to happen right now, or
I couldn't.
They're in some trouble too.
See, that's my issue. It's Raw right now is boring me. I hardly even watch.
It's because there's 8 people on their roster.
Right, they try to make it into a 3 hour.
Next, yeah.
I enjoy parts of SmackDown. That's where I think, they gotta go back to the 2-hour format.
Roman Reigns versus the janitor.
Oh, the janitor. Went to 3 hours is the downfall.
Yeah.
When Raw went to 3 hours, like you're doing too much now.
Yeah, it's tough. And then it's a lot of
programming. Yeah, they're trying to get so many people on airtime, but back then when it was a 2-hour show, these guys were fighting for their time and upping their game.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's just handed to them, and they're not doing anything with it.
And there's not as many people on steroids anymore.
Yeah,
it's tough. You know, it's different. It's a lot different. But you know, the idea I think is, and I do the same thing, Tim. I mean, I read about it, I watch it, I try to get into it because here's what we do, and it's hard for me to.
Yeah, that's why I love Friday nights because then you get SmackDown, and right after SmackDown, you get an hour of Dynamite. And what's usually nice, I mean, I know I've said before, I don't like how AEW does like their best match right away.
Yeah.
But I mean, you kind of get like, okay, you get your main event from SmackDown, and then you get like the best match of Dynamite, and then whatever.
Yeah.
You can go to bed.
That's it. And I'm spent. Yeah.
Sorry, not Dynamite, Rampage.
Yeah.
Rampage, right. So I know, Tom, the sports entertainment is in your DNA, in your blood. And did you find it easy? Like, oh man, here's just another one, and there's some good people on here, or did you force yourself to be like, I have to take this medicine?
So for me, it was like, I go back to when TNA started.
Yeah.
When they got Kurt Angle, I'm like, okay, because I like they have Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, Kaz, and a couple other guys, Pete Williams. And when he started that, I think it was like 2006
Yeah.
era. Like I really liked that, like the 6-sided ring. I always kind of like the underdog stuff.
Yeah.
And then when AEW came around and they had Jericho, they had Cody Rhodes, the Young Bucks, they were signing Kenny Omega. I'm like, okay, they got something here. Bringing Jim Ross over and Shivani, I'm like, okay, I can do this product. Because like right now with the commentators, I love the AEW commentators way over WWE.
Yeah.
I gotta be honest, Jim Ross though, like go ahead and retire like 10.
He's 9,000 years old. That
So
guy.
look, you had your heyday.
That's right.
And you've done so much for wrestling, and there's got to be a time where you hang it up.
Yeah.
To me, it sounds like a get off my lawn guy.
Yeah.
So-
Great. Yeah, he did a lot of talent. Right. All right. That music means we are about, well, we're done. That's the finishing move right there. Hey, we want to thank everybody for tuning in right here to Let Me Tell You Something, brother. If you want to be part of the show, let us know. Reach out at 216net@gmail.com and say, hey, how do I get on that show? We'd love to have you on. Of course, we want your take on the World Wrestling Entertainment. So let us know. For all of us here at 216 The Net, thanks for tuning in. And remember, Royal Rumble this weekend. Tim will be there. Anybody can spot Tim on that pay-per-view. You'll get a special 216 The Net business card.
We'll have shirts for next
All right, yeah. We'll figure it out.